Beginning your photographic journey is easy with these Nikon DSLR and Nikon lens combinations that let you match your passion with the right equipment. If you're looking to shoot travel and landscape images, you'll want a body and lens combination that's lightweight and versatile. The D7200 with an AFS-DX Nikon 18-140mm f3.5 to 5.6G ED-VR lens will let you capture wide-angle scenery like nature, city skylines and architecture, while still having the versatility to shoot portraits and smaller subjects of interest. Using a D5500 paired with an AFS-DX Nikon 35mm f1.8G prime lens for street photography means you'll have a bright lens that produces true-to-life images with beautiful bokeh. If people and pets are closest to your heart, you'll want a system that's fast enough to capture fleeting moments. A D5500 paired with an AFS-DX Nikon 16-85mm f3.5 to 5.6G ED-VR zoom lens will capture everything from group shots to individual close-ups. If you're passionate about the details, you may want to consider a macro lens, like this D3300 paired with an AFS-DX Micro Nikon 40mm f2.8G. The wide aperture will let you capture small objects with a shallow depth of field and lovely background blur. Ideal for subjects like food, jewelry, toys, flowers, and of course insects. Nikon DSLRs are designed to help you get professional-looking results no matter what your experience level. Even the entry-level D3300 is equipped with a 24.2 effective megapixel image sensor and a helpful guide mode that teaches you the basics of operating a DSLR. Get started with Nikon's easy-to-use systems and enjoy expanding them as you grow. Ever wondered how to get your subject in focus while keeping the background soft and blurry? The secret is aperture. Aperture is the size of the opening inside your lens that lets light in. It's created by a series of overlapping blades and is measured in f-stops. In Nikon lenses, these stops range from a very wide open f1.4 to a very small f32, depending on the lens. Besides controlling the amount of light that enters your lens, aperture also controls depth of field, how much of your subject will be in focus and how much of the background will be nicely blurred. Wide open apertures, such as f1.4 on this AFS Nikon 50mm f1.4G, let in more light and produce a shallow depth of field in your images. That means more background blur and a narrower range where your image is in focus. In low light, use a wide open aperture to let in more light for a brighter image, or to freeze the action with a higher shutter speed. Under any lighting conditions, a wider aperture will blur your background, helping your subject to really stand out in your shot. Small apertures let in less light but produce a large depth of field. That means less background blur and more of your shot in focus. Many Nikon lenses offer 7 to 9 aperture blades, resulting in smoother, creamier bokeh. Try out different aperture settings to see how they affect your images and get more from your photography with Nikon. Shutter speed controls how long light can pass through the lens to your camera's sensor, and this determines the appearance of movement in your shot. Here are some values you should know when setting your shutter speed. For people or nature photography, try 1/320th or 1/500th of a second, or even faster in good lighting conditions. For fast-moving objects, move up to 1/2000th of a second to freeze the action. To stop birds in mid-flight, use the maximum shutter speed, which is 1/8000th in the case of the Nikon D7200. You may not always want to freeze the motion in your photographs completely. A shutter speed like 1/80th of a second can introduce blur when shooting moving subjects, giving your images the feeling of action. For moving water, use a tripod and set your shutter speed to 2 seconds to create a velvety-looking flow over sharply focused rocks. For light trails of night traffic, set shutter speed to 5 seconds, or to paint with light, try a shutter speed of 15 seconds. Bulb mode lets you open and close the shutter without time restriction, so you can employ very long exposures for photographing the sky at night. When you're using slow shutter speeds, camera movement can blur your image. To reduce this, switch on your lens's vibration reduction, increase your ISO setting, or put your camera on a tripod to hold it absolutely still. Playing with shutter speeds can lead to some great and surprising results, so don't be afraid to experiment.
ISO is the measure of your camera's sensitivity to light. The higher the number, the more sensitive it is, increasing your camera's ability to capture images in low light without a flash. Every time you double ISO, your camera's sensitivity to light increases by 1 stop. So ISO 200 is 1 stop more sensitive than ISO 100. 400 is 1 stop more sensitive than 200, and so on, all the way up to 25,600 in the case of this D5500. Increasing ISO allows more light to be captured without having to adjust aperture or shutter speed, helping minimize blur and maintaining depth of field. Or, on a sunny day, you may need to lower ISO to get the shot you want. Increasing ISO to a very high level can introduce noise into your shot, so usually you want to keep it as low as possible. But this is something you may be able to minimize with noise reduction. Similar to shutter speed or aperture, there's no one-size-fits-all ISO setting. The best way to learn is keep experimenting.
White balance refers to the color tone calibration of your camera's sensor. Knowing how to set your white balance correctly can help you capture more accurate colors in your photograph. It's easy to do and can make a big difference in the appearance of your images. Nikon cameras, such as the D750, have 4 ways to set white balance. The first is auto white balance. As the name suggests, with auto white balance your camera determines the light in the shot and sets the white balance automatically. The second option is white balance presets, which allow you to choose a white balance based on the type of light in your scene. Indoors you can choose fluorescent or incandescent. Outdoors you can choose direct sunlight, cloudy or shade. Thirdly, you can choose your Kelvin color temperature. The fourth and final option is to set a custom white balance for your photograph. To set a custom white balance, set your lens to manual focus and take a photo of a sheet of white paper or a white balance grey card under the same light as your subject, using live view to help confirm the results that immediately show on screen. Alternatively, shooting in RAW will give you the flexibility to easily adjust your white balance later using software like Nikon Capture NXD. Get the results you want by optimizing your white balance. Nikon's picture control system offers all photographers, from enthusiasts to professionals, supreme control over images. The 7 options feature a range of characteristics for you to experiment with, enabling you to create images and movies with the look and feel you want to achieve. If you're just looking for a general purpose mode suitable for all scenes, you may want to start with Standard. If you're trying to capture true-to-life images, Neutral will give you a look closest to the actual appearance of what is in the frame. Flat is ideal for capturing raw material with rich information to be used for adjusting later. Whereas Vivid gives you distinct, colorful, fresh-looking images that place just the right amount of emphasis on contours and contrast. If you're photographing people, Portrait mode will make skin appear softer and smoother so your subjects look their best. And for the great outdoors, Landscape mode captures natural vistas with rich color tones, resulting in bluer skies and greener foliage. Finally, Monochrome lets you choose monochromatic tones, including black and white and sepia. You can further customize picture controls by adjusting tone, hue, contrast, brightness, saturation, and sharpening. Alternatively, shooting RAW and using software like Nikon's powerful Capture NXD will allow you to switch between picture control modes during editing, so you can fine-tune your image to achieve exactly the look you want. Trusted by professionals, Nikon Picture Control makes crafting images easier than ever before by offering you new levels of control.